From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us on the MTN Statewide News this Monday. I'm Casey Conlon in for Andrea Lutz. We begin with breaking news at this hour. The first shipments of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine have arrived in the Treasure State. St. Vincent Healthcare in Billings confirmed that they received one box of 975 doses this morning and that they will begin vaccinating frontline workers tomorrow. Here is footage from the St. Vincent unboxing this morning. You can see Tech Shane Anderson here opening the box, removing a top layer of dry ice needed to keep the vaccine at a low enough temperature during transport. Then Anderson removes one of the 5 cases filled with 195 vials. It all adds up to 975 total. Transfers them to an ultra cold freezer St. Vincent recently purchased for this purpose. The hospital plans to hold a clinic tomorrow afternoon to begin administering the first doses to frontline staff. That's in accordance with state and federal guidelines. St. Vincent released this statement. Ultimately, our goal will be to vaccinate as many of our healthcare workers as possible. And because we anticipate our initial quantities of the vaccine will be limited, our initial efforts, as directed by state and federal authorities, will primarily focus on vaccinating our frontline staff to ensure our healthcare providers can continue to serve and provide care to our patients. Many of the state's hospitals set to receive a vaccine allotment have confirmed to MTN that they will not get theirs until tomorrow or Wednesday. You just saw a small part of the process required once they do. MTN's Andrea Lutz gives us a closer look on how doses will settle into the ultra cold freezer at Billings Clinic.
We came across that we had this ultra cold storage.
Jackie Ulishny leads us to where Billings Clinic houses its ultra cold freezer.
We can store significant quantities of vaccine now.
We've been asked to keep the location a secret as the vaccine is a hot commodity designed to save lives.
So this is our ultra cold freezer.
Although Billings Clinic has had this freezer for years, at first she didn't think they'd be able to use it for the vaccine.
So it's at minus 81 degrees Fahrenheit right now.
The freezer was filled with research drugs.
We just lucked out that the research team was able to send drug back and make room for us for the vaccine.
Just days ago, special instructions came. Everything must be timed perfectly.
They're stacked 1 to 5 trays. We have to make sure we do it somewhere close by and well ventilated because you have to open the box. There's up to 50 pounds of dry ice in there. And so they're tracking it the entire time. And then you have 5 minutes to transfer it from that to this.
The vaccine comes in a box 9 inches by 9 inches by 2 inches.
When we did measurements, we think we can hold anywhere between 5,000 and 10,000 doses. Significant space if we need it.
As director of pharmacy, Ulishny started a team months ago when the pandemic spiked.
This has been kind of a whirlwind and it's been very exciting and I've been doing my best. I don't know that I've personally ever been part of a project quite this big.
She's seen the entire process unfold firsthand, and it's likely her hands that will be the first on the vaccine when it comes.
So it's an experience is all I can say.
For her, that moment will be groundbreaking.
We continue to learn and learn and learn. And
especially meaningful now, as the virus came into her life just to take so much away.
I have been personally very, I've had friends and family, so this is very personal to me at this point, that have, been affected by COVID. Some have come through fine and some not. I think I've always been a believer that the vaccine was the only way out of this pandemic, and so the sooner we could have a vaccine, the better. So I'm thankful.
In Billings, Andrea Lutz, MTN News.
Thank you, Andrea. As for today's updated case numbers, the Department of Public Health and Human Services performed an upgrade of the statewide communicable disease reporting system yesterday and required to be shut down all day, so we will not be able to provide an accurate picture. We can report another death in Bighorn County, bringing their total to 56 and 837 for the state. 837, that should read. Bighorn also reports 4 new cases, bringing their active total to 142. All right, we move to weather now, and it's been an active morning here in south central and eastern Montana, Ed.
That's right, and the western portion of the state also started with some snow as well. Go ahead and take a look at what was happening. This is over the last 12 hours, so it started about midnight and then pushes across southern Montana and northern Wyoming. So there we go. Around midnight, you see a lot of it over the western portion of the state. Southern Montana, it's been lingering a little bit longer here today, but even though the snow is starting to wind down, it's still going to leave some effects behind it, because as we see some of this moisture refreeze with the colder temperatures tonight, we will have some slick spots on streets and sidewalks. And as the temperatures start to fall, thanks to a clearing sky and fresh snow, it's going to be a chilly start tomorrow. Add to all of that some wind that will cause cold wind chills and maybe a little light blowing snow. Details on the forecast coming up in just a little bit.
Thank you, Ed. To Gallatin County, a Bozeman man has been arrested after allegedly stabbing one of his two roommates multiple times yesterday, causing life-threatening wounds. 18-year-old Cyrus Mims appeared in Gallatin County Justice Court this morning to face a charge of attempted deliberate homicide. Court documents say Mims, one of his two roommates, and a third person who was interviewed as a witness were home on the 2200 block of Buckrake Avenue, sitting on the living room couch for several hours. Mims, unprovoked, allegedly grabbed a large fixed-blade knife from a coffee table and began stabbing his roommate in his chest, neck, and face. The victim was stabbed more than 20 times, sustained 2 punctured lungs and a broken neck, according to the documents. He was flown to a trauma center for medical care. Mims allegedly said he intended to kill the victim, who he said was a source of negative energy. Bail has been set at $500,000. His next appearance is set for January 8th at 8 a.m. The other big news we're watching throughout the day, the Electoral College is expected to formally choose Joe Biden as the nation's next president. Electors in all 50 states and the District of Columbia will meet to cast their presidential votes. Wyoming's meeting got underway just minutes ago, while Montana's electors are expected to make their vote at 2 p.m. this afternoon. Biden is planning to address the country tonight once the ballots are in. The votes won't officially be tallied until January 6th. That will be done by Congress, with Vice President Mike Pence present. The Wisconsin Supreme Court, meanwhile, has ruled against President Trump's lawsuit and latest attempt to overturn the state's election results. The ruling came just an hour before Wisconsin's Electoral College voters were set to confirm Biden's win in the state. Still ahead on the MTN New News, a look at how Job Service Montana is helping businesses find employees who are struggling to find work. The time is 12:07. First, Ed's back with a look at your extended forecast.